Hey everybody, welcome along to this teaching discussion. I'm here today with Demi Poortman. Demi is from the Netherlands and he's been teaching guitar and ukulele and bass for around 7 years. Now, he's played in cover bands all over Europe, and today we're going to do a discussion around guitar teaching. And he also does band coaching with gifted children, things like ADD and ADHD. So we'll get talking today. Demi, you're very welcome along. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Dave, for being here. Nice,
No.
nice to hear from you, and
Thank you.
great initiative that you are doing to connect. So, cheers on that.
Cheers. No, thank you. Thanks for making the time. And so we were just talking before I hit record. So we are doing we've only met a couple of minutes, and we were basically talking for everybody watching about learning guitar online nowadays, how it's so different to years ago. So we were saying about how a long time ago everybody went to guitar teachers to learn songs, and the guitar teachers were the source of the songs. And nowadays we're talking about how with YouTube and the internet it's very different. So do you wanna pick up from
Totally
there, Jimmy?
agree. Yes. We talked about a little bit about the videos there, the lesson videos. They are already available, huh?
Yeah.
And they are coming to you as a teacher with those the new vocabulary, or how do you want to call it, and you say, whoa, that's interesting, that's new, instead of you give him the homework. And I thought we were in a conversation about how I asked about how you are gonna how you um, change the situation around, or was it me?
Yeah, sure. Maybe both of us. Yeah, so yeah, basically like the situation is, as I view it nowadays, like it's so cool, like that everything is up there. And as somebody who produces things, the song lessons and everything, um, the big challenge I see nowadays for a lot of guitar players learning online is the structure. And like for example, Andy Guitar, Justin Guitar, Marty Music. Those would be the big three, the head honchos of like the online education, guitar education that I've seen, anyways. And when it comes to it, if a student can discipline themselves to go through the structure, um, it can work, technique aside, at times. However, the problem can be then, I think players naturally get restless. I don't know, have you seen this where they'll get halfway through the course, get 3 or 4 chords, and the YouTube algorithm kicks in then. And YouTube knows this student has 4 chords. And YouTube starts putting things down the sidebar to say, hey,
Yes.
try these songs. And I, players come to me then for lessons and they go, I have bits of like everything, and I don't know what's next, and I don't know how to connect them all up. And how do you find it, Dimmy, teaching in the Netherlands?
Exactly like that. They get overwhelmed by the information. There's so much nice information, and this is nice, and this is nice, and and they're all over the place. And then you think, okay, how can I reconnect? Can I simplify it and put it in tiny steps to them, or just focus on one thing? But that's each person different, to say like that. Um, so you have to prioritize the material for them. It's obviously it's very nice to see them enthusiast, but it's a little bit too much, because I see the how do you call it, the focus point of the people is sometimes 1 minute, and they turn around and they turn around. That's a little bit too much, but you know what I mean. So
Mm.
we make it simple and make it compact, so they can teach it, if I said, so they can study it every day for a couple of minutes, and they still stay happy, instead of going back into the YouTube algorithm, where you can lose them, and
Yeah,
they can lose themselves.
nice. Yeah, the wild wild web, as I call it. It's just like everything's
Yes,
there.
it's
Um,
insane. It's insane. Yeah.
and
Back in the day, I
ha-
had a little a cassette recording. Do you know them? The
yeah, I remember
tapes.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, we're from the same age. And
yeah,
I learned jazz. I recorded from some alternative radio station on a tape. And yes, you have to record it, and then you have to play it back with, and then you You listen to the tape, and then go back, and etc. etc. That was the only source because no one in my environment knew how to play it. And nowadays you can learn everything you want. That's the positive thing. But yes, it's a new time. It all has its pros and cons, I think.
Definitely, yeah, definitely, definitely. Sometimes I like, as I said, we're the same age, and like I was sharing with the student yesterday. I was saying, I often wonder what would have happened if I was a teenager in this current climate. Would I have
Oh man.
progressed on guitar, or would I have just gone looking at like random videos? So,
Yeah.
you know,
I
it's
think you know the answer about that because in back in the days, I think, but that's just my small opinion, of course. But the dedication back then was enormous, was gigantic. Was how do you call it? Because
yeah,
I studied for 8 hours a day, and I wanted it because it was my fire, it was my passion. If I had the right resources back in the day, I think I would be 10 times a better player than now. But yeah, we are what we are, and that has a reason. So I will accept it. But I think if I had the information, because I already knew in my head what I wanted to learn, but if the resources weren't available, so I think it would skyrocket some people. What do you think?
yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought of it that way. Yeah, you're right. You had the big reason, and when you have the reason, everything that's out there is basically now a resource or a tool. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, definitely. My like you said, 8 hours a day. I was the same. Like I was practicing. Man, I was getting up in the morning and I was practicing two,
Yeah,
3 hours before school, and I thought about guitar all day in school. I'd be writing on the back of my copy, drawing out pentatonic scales, memorizing them, and then listening
wow.
and going to the music room at lunch sometimes and playing with friends. And once I get home, I live near my school, so I get home like 4:10 p.m. in the evening, and I throw the bag in the corner, go straight back to guitar, and that would be it for a couple of hours again. And yeah, it was an obsession. So yeah, now that you say tools and did you use Ultimate Guitar then? Because I know that it had started when Ultimate Guitar was there at the time. It was just
Yeah,
very new.
it was small. It was, yeah, it
Yeah.
was new. It was the beginning. I used it sometimes, but the chords didn't align often in those days with the songs. So it was a very interesting arrangements. Let's say like that, like that.
Yeah.
It helped me for sure, but it was the beginning. I remember it was small. Nothing, not everything was available.
Mhm.
But these days, it's the app for for the students to install. But I help them with choosing the right chords. Plus, I change the chords 7 times out of 10. So
I do the same. Nice.
yeah, yeah, it's I can't. Yes, I can't look at it and say from no, yeah, we have to change it a little bit because it's otherwise it isn't
Yeah.
it isn't acceptable.
Yes, and to make it, sometimes if a player has been playing G, E minor, C, and D for a long time, if they put up the latest song and it's the same, it's really handy on Ultimate Guitar being able to just change them or say, we'll do bar chords on this one or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Simplify it oh sorry,
you're good, go ahead.
simplify it or make it more interesting. That's also or
Yeah.
change it for the singing.
Yeah.
Change the key for the singing. But most of the time, yeah, just make it in correct, make it correct
Yeah.
chords. Yeah.
That's that's yeah, true, which matters. Like, and you said there about ear training is interesting. You said there about the cassette. Yeah, I did cassettes and CDs, and how did that develop for you? Um, as you said, you had nothing in your environment, no other resources to learn the things you wanted to learn. So, what did you start off listening to and figuring out by ear?
um, I've did got some old Wes Montgomery music. and Birelle Lagren, Django Reinhardt.
Oh yeah.
So I got those tapes from somewhere, and that I studied. But the bad thing was, or the bad, I don't know, it's bad, but when you play the cassette 100 times, it just falls apart.
Yeah, yeah, and the
A
pitch starts to go.
Yes, and the YouTube video stays already also. So, but the ears got very good. Solfège, I think you call it the same
Okay, so fast. Yeah.
yeah. It was very good for the ear. But at some timepiece, if you look at the timepiece of study, for example, I studied for 3 months Donnelly. That's a jazz standard.
Oh yeah.
And I studied, I studied for three ways, in three different ways of the neck.
Yeah.
3 months it cost me. Then to master it, it was about 9 months.
Man.
But if you look at the learning curve, after that I learned it to my cousin, because my cousin also wouldn't learn. I learned it him in a week.
Wow. So you knew the shortcuts and you knew where you'd lost time and you knew how the structure of it?
Yes. So the basic chords and the solo, I learned learned the piece in 1 week to him. So
Wow.
he absorbed it in 1 week. So you see the time curve of learning is a huge difference, because maybe it's his talent also, and maybe he's more talented than me. That's totally awesome. But to pioneer and listen by ear and find out how it's played, and versus see exactly what you need to play, that's a time, man. That's a time difference.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, definitely. And what, like, let's say with that, did you find then you went at other songs and other pieces, and all of a sudden you're like, I just know how these go because some excerpts and extracts were in that first piece.
Yes, and the ears got very well trained. So you hear half steps and whatever. You hear everything. You hear every chord. So I didn't want to miss it, and I want, yeah, I would. It's the thing that I would love the most to do. So if I want to play now, I'm going to do solfège for myself, to find numbers and find it out by ear. Difficult pieces. That's where I get happy from.
Oh man,
Because you
that's
can
cool.
also, yes, you can also change that to the jamming. If you
Yeah,
hear the
true.
piece, what they play live, because you wanted to go to the jam topic also,
Yeah,
is if you can hear what they're playing, you can adapt yourself, or make it bigger or smaller, or arrange it at that moment. So it the learning and the hearing solfège on the cassette helped me enormously to do it live. For
that's cool.
example, if I play also in a band, the Boys of Live Request. It's nowadays in these days it's small band, and we do live requests.
Mm.
There's a possibility that singers can come up to the stage. Some can sing awesome, some are different, are in the starting phase. Let's keep it like that. But they say, I want to sing this song, and I say, okay, I never heard the song. I listen to it, the first 30 seconds, and then we play it. And that's yeah, that's and maybe it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. If you have a good band behind you, it's awesome. So from the cassette to live arrangements, that's the story. I never could do that if I didn't do the solfège. So the jamming, I never could do the jamming if I didn't do the cassette learning.
Brilliant. Yeah, yeah, I get that. And you said there, because it's the same for me. Like I'd done I'd done violin for a couple of years ahead of guitar,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, and my reading of music wasn't that great. So without realizing I was really dependent on my ear. and I used to just watch other players in the class and copy their fingers, and I didn't realize it. And then I went on guitar, and before my first lesson, I got a guitar teacher after I'd learned the open chords, but I'd still figured out Parisian Walkways by Thin Lizzy on one string at the time. Now, technique was
Yeah.
everywhere, but just that process. And when it came time to jamming with others, like you said, yeah, it's like for anybody watching, it's the more you try and get uncomfortable and do some ear training and just start trying to figure things out and focus on it, you'll find that someone will just like go into your jamming with others as well. Definitely,
Yeah. Awesome.
you know. So with the jamming, do you have a set of recommended songs then you recommend students figure out, or is it you'll gently nudge them in different directions?
I teach them jamming. That sounds basic, but
That's good.
yes, I teach them jamming. So at first, before they go into jam, they have to have a good ear. So I say to them, "What do you want? Do you want to learn this? Okay, etc." So choose your music. If it's metal, pop, funk, soul, jazz, I don't really care. Go first to the bass. Listen to the bass. Try to play it with it. The second is the first chord, major or minor. That's it. There are no more chords than major or minor for me.
Yep.
Of course, you have, and then a couple of templates over it, and that's it. So I'll teach them the templates up front. From those are the possibilities that are 99 of the 10%, and next step is to master it and to make extra new chords, to expand it, diminished, augmented, whatever they really like, which sound, to make it bigger or smaller. That's also possible.
Yeah.
So you have a song that's 12 chords and you make it 4. Okay. And then you have the basics for jamming. And the rule, I don't like rules, but the rule is you play in a jam session when you really know the chords. So first they're in a jam session, a group, whatever. They search the bass. Oh, the bass, I know, 100%. And then they go for, oh, I know this, and they try to silent play with it. And when they know they are for sure that are accurate, then they go all in. So the jam session stays nice to hear. The quality stays okay, and everyone enjoys it. The pro player and the beginner can play together.
That's great. That's great. And yeah, the bass line thing is so important. What was it? Some Eric Clapton things I started with, and it was the bass and just trying to get it. And with headphones, like makes such a difference instead of phones nowadays for listening to the bass.
What do you mean?
So like for figuring out the bass lines, I've done that with some students, and sometimes so everybody's so used to just listening to their phone, they don't have headphones in, and they're missing out on like so much bass, and it's so much harder to figure out.
Oh, of course, those are the technical things of these times. Yes, I never thought of that. I play it always on the big audio to listen, but normal at the radio you just have a big sound, so that's a good thing. You let them listen with headphones.
Yes, yeah, and like I try and share with them that, let's say, to try and get it at the best quality they can in the beginning. So yeah, it's important for them to train their ears and to get the best shot at it. Like for example, now I changed over to Apple Music a couple of months ago because the music is now lossless in Apple Music versus Spotify and YouTube, like, which is generally lower than Spotify. But the sound quality of the bass is crazy, like especially with headphones.
That's really nice. So how do you do it? How do you what do you prefer?
So before COVID, it was like haven't jammed like in lessons now that I'm back teaching privately since September. It was all online before then. I would have a good read on what chords the student knew, and then I'd pick a couple of songs that I'd ask them to play with and figure out. Now, since there's only the two of us, it was quite chaotic. Like, I didn't have a big group where I was like, I gotta keep some order on this. So I'd say to them, listen, it's in the key of G, so we know that it's G, C, D, A minor, E minor, B minor, and basically just do your best. Like, you have a 1 in 6 chance of getting the correct chord here. And then I would know off them what songs they know. So let's say if they're into Lewis Capaldi and Ed Sheeran, I'd pick a song from that, because again, a lot of the heavy lifting is done in the beginning if it's a song they're super familiar with. Like when Shape of You came out years ago, I had like 8-year-olds come to me who could play that cross rhythm, that bum 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 bum, that thing. It was crazy, and it was only because they'd heard the song hundreds of times in their ears. And because of that experience, then it maps onto their playing. So when they're doing Lewis Capaldi, Ed Sheeran, a band they're familiar with, it's easier for them. But then after a while, I give them a song that they're not as familiar with, but it's still kind of like you could go, it's the same chord schemes, really. It's just presented differently. And then my favorite one is I find out what artists they really don't like, and we figure out one of their songs, because they have to kind of fight through the thing going, I really don't like this artist, but it really gets them to just build the persistence and the discipline and focus to still figure out the chords.
Yeah.
You know.
And do they grind do they have the capabilities to study the song they don't like?
A lot of the time, yeah, like it's the momentum. It's like for example, I'd say to them, you won't always get to play every song you like, and like we were saying, we've similar approaches in we teach students, the two of us, that we teach them things they like, and I do that most of the time, and then I'm always mapping for and tracking for what playing experiences could lie outside the teaching room for them, and one will be at times having a song that they won't like, and I'll be trying to just deal with that and still use their skills and their resources to get it.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
So,
yeah. So they never get surprised. You give them the full package.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So they are always prepared for songs they don't like also, but songs are, music is music. So the chords are in a song that they like. So it's
So talking about jamming, basically one thing I wanted to ask you, because I often get asked by players, it's like, how can you find the right songs to jam over?
To jam over or to jam with?
To jam over, so for solos.
For solos. The question I give back to you is, what do you want? What's your goal? What do you want?
Cool. So, for example, I was actually years ago when I was doing grades, it was improvisation. So improvisation with pentatonics. So if somebody out there is watching and they have their first pentatonic shape, the classic shape learned, and they want to use that to improvise and jam, any suggestions on how they could go about it?
Normal. I go just over the standard backing tracks, but there has to be a climax in it. There has to be the students must have the possibility to tell a story.
I like that. That's good.
And yes, and I try to encourage them to make the story as compact as possible. So let's say you make a melody of 3 notes, and then you expand from there. So you make it interesting, and that's why they have a bridge, and that's why you have the fifth the chord for example, you go to a climax or whatever. So the backing track needs a story, has a story as well. So so your soloing makes sense. Otherwise, it's just noodling, and that noodling is totally fine. But if you want to make a goal, and the other option is, of course, if they want to learn vocabulary, licks, or patterns, which is in bebop very, very natural. You have another vocabulary to communicate. So that's just put on Star Wars 1, 2, and 3. I think there are 3 hours.
Okay.
Get a backing track or your looper, and set it, and just go and go and go and go and go and go. So you own and master your licks and your arpeggios or whatever you are doing, to get them into your system for each chord.
Wow.
So you can add them to your storytelling. Of course, arpeggios and licks are mechanics.
Yeah.
But they add to your organ. How do you call it? To add to the story of to get in your flow, your normal flow. Organic. Sorry, organic is the word.
Yes.
You have an organic solo, and you go to the climax. You put in your mechanics, and you use the speed or whatever to accompany and boost your story, not the other way around. So those are two different ways to play with a backing track. And I know people who just play 2 chords, and they just go 3 hours straight, 4 hours straight, just on that one lick, bam, bam, bam.
Nice.
And now they have built a library of licks that's insane, way more than me. And they have always inspiration. And they now trying, the next level is to try to you have learn the lick, master the lick, and change it to your own style. And then the journey really starts, because they are playing their own style. But in the basics, they learned what they love, the sound that they love. And that's the mistake I made when I was young. I thought, I have to learn everything. I have to learn everything. No. If I would start over again, I would learn what I really like to hear, what I would love to hear, what I get. Wow, this sounds awesome. And then expand on that. So you have a totally different foundation. But that's for the people who like to practice next level. If you want to do campfire collaborations, hey, that's totally fine. Just grab a C chord and go on with it. Also cool. But if you want to make music and live music, that's what I advise to do. And I did it to one student who was 14 years old. He said, Demi, I really want to play guitar. I said, really? What do you really want to play guitar, or do you want to play guitar? I said, really? Okay. If you do exactly what I tell you, and not like you have to do this. If you do it and you practice, you get better. You get way soon better than me. And I teach them 2 years, and then everything I know, everything, and then bam. Because he's young, he adapts fast, and that's insane. And I said, after 2 years, I said, now you can go to the next level. Bam. And that's what I love. That's what I really love. So that's it. And in 2 years, fast. Whew.
Man, I know. I've thought a student like that comes along every so often. Like I don't know what the percentage is, but it's you just know the drive and the hunger is there, and there's sometimes a song attached to it. I had somebody who came to me yesterday for a lesson, and they basically came in and said, this song is my goal. And it was like Eric Johnson, Cliffs of Dover, which is such a class goal. And so they're starting out with open chords and scales, and now we have a roadmap. So they have their massive why, and they'll put in the time. And when you're younger as well, like you said, my ears pricked up when you said about the Star Wars 1, 2, and 3. Not because Star Wars, I do like Star Wars as well.
Yes, but it's just you know why.
The TV, just like my guitar teacher at the time, I was blown away by his technique, and I was like how many hours, or what do I have to do that? And I couldn't figure it out. And then he said that he practiced a lot watching TV, and so I began to do it in
Ah.
soccer matches, Formula One, everything. Like I was picking up 90 minutes here and there, and still getting to watch everything. And yeah, looking at it, like those hours, like you said, the mechanics, and then being able to tell a song, being able to tell a story via the melody. I love that phrase.
Yeah.
Because it can get very mechanical, and sometimes with the shred culture, there's a video of me playing when I was 15, and we played a family fair day here in Ireland in the local town, and we played Johnny Be Good, but I was after playing Van Halen for like 8 months straight.
Oh,
So
wow.
in the middle of Johnny Be Good, I tore out a solo, but it was the most inappropriate solo ever.
And that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And I didn't
And
see that coming, huh?
no. And then I was like, maybe I need to, like, as you said, maybe there needs to be a story going on, not just like shred.
Yes, but maybe it's the story. That's also
That's
good,
true,
eh?
yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You know how Eddie Van Halen just improvised by the song of Michael Jackson. It was just all
Yes.
gibberish and noodling.
Yeah.
So maybe it was in that time. It was, I don't know. Was it the 80s or something?
That was yeah,
90s?
Thriller came out in
I don't know.
84. 84, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And it was totally out of the box. But
Yeah.
nowadays, it's still a brilliant solo. So if you do such a solo over Johnny Be Good, hey,
Yeah.
you're
That's true.
pioneering. So
Trying.
it also can be the best story ever. So
Yeah.
it just there's no such thing. I also have a nice saying. I use this almost every week if somebody asks me. Joe Pass, you know Joe Pass?
Yeah.
Of course. After, I don't know, 40 years of study or more, or what, I'm not of the numbers. His conclusion was, if it sounds good, it sounds good. And if it doesn't sound good, you have to do something else.
I like it. That's simple.
That's it. After 40 years of bebop studying. So I love it. And that's what I also tell the students. If it sounds good, it sounds good. If it doesn't sound good, change it or whatever.
Nice.
And that's it. And I don't care if it's augmented, diminished, half diminished, 7, 11, 30. I don't care. It's the coloring of the notes. Is it tasteful? That's more. But
Yeah.
tasteful is also a perception. And not everyone can adjust their hearing to your taste. So you have maybe a different kind of people that listen to your music. So what's wrong? I don't know. Listen to Mono Neon. You like it or you don't like it, but it's brilliant. If you don't like it, I understand. If you think, whoa, that's too much. If you like it, oh, it's virtuous. Cool. So yeah. And maybe it's a little bit for some people it's too wide ranged, but I like that. I don't know how you.
Yeah, I agree definitely. Like the whole thing, what is right or wrong on guitar? Like there's a band. I don't know. Have you heard of the Libertines?
No, I will search them up.
Okay, so check them out. Right, they're a UK band, and it's like punk pop rock indie sort of sound. But basically, like there's a bit of out-of-tune guitars, fret buzzing, fret searching, loads of stuff that like you train students not to do, and then all of a sudden they have these mega songs, big hits, and the playing on them is pretty rough, but then it's like, is it a bad thing or is it wrong to play rough? If that's the sound.
Yeah, that's the thing I also learned the last years, and I think the answer is for me is emotion. Does it land? Does the technique or whatever you do or the playing, does it lend emotion to other people? Because I know people who play rough as hell, like the story
Yeah.
you told, and you think, oh man, I'm a clean new-soul guitar kind of guitarist, so I like it
Yeah.
clean and warm, and that you can hear every note. But they play, but on acoustic guitar, and the people love it. They got enthusiasts and they feel the music. Is it wrong? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
something in my perception that I will do different, but who am I to say it's wrong?
Yeah. That's
And
true.
that's a difficult thing, but very you have to stay humble and open-minded to yeah to see those differences. There's no wrong or right.
No, no. We're getting very philosophical here. This is great. I like it.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
Me too. Yes.
no, it's great. And speaking of the emotion, like because how, what's my question? How do you, um, is it, how do you think people can get more emotionally involved with their improvisation or with their soloing? Because like John Mayer, that footage of the John Mayer playing Human Nature at Michael Jackson's funeral for me is one of the most, like, I get
Yeah.
goosebumps thinking about it because that guy is feeling every note he's playing. It's
Yeah.
for anybody. I'll link it underneath as well.
Yes. What was the question? I
So
was
it
listening to your
was.
story.
Sorry, yeah. I do go on tangents.
That's totally
So my
cool.
question was, how do you think people can get more emotionally involved in their soloing or improvisation?
I think that's just go into your inner self, and that sounds a little bit, how do you call it?
That's okay.
But it's just, do you know Tommy Emmanuel?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. He played Angelina, and I had some special reference to that, and I can't cry, but I
Yeah.
was at a concert, and he played it, and there was some emotional feeling of it, and wow, one tear, whoa,
Yeah.
I feel the connection. And I think it's for every person different what gets them emotionally. So I think that's the base point. If it's Michael Jackson or the Beatles or a punk or metal, of course there you have different emotions, but it's the emotion that you want to feel. I think that's in this case the focus point. So what's the emotion that you want to feel and you want to bring to the people or to the audience or for yourself? You have some right. So I think that's the basis. If you like the John Mayer concert, which note gives you goosebumps? But it's not only the note, it's also the story he's telling that you got sucked into. So
Yeah.
you study his story, and you have to find out why you find it so interesting, and it gets you grabs you by the balls. And
Yeah.
if it's
Yeah.
yeah, but you can also convert it. You have also sax players
Mm.
who play awesome lines. You can transpose it to your guitar. You have also amazing singers. You can get their lines and try to solfege that the lines of the singers. You can. So music is music, and I think that's the thing. There are no boundaries in finding your emotional interesting points. I hope I explained it quite
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. It varies definitely. Yeah. I get that. I think one of the things for me that happens is it's if I see a player playing to like the peak of their potential at that moment. It's a big one.
Yeah.
Like I saw Steve Vai once, and he played up in Derry, up in the north here in Ireland, and
Mm-hmm.
he played to a backing track. It was basically a masterclass, and it was so good. The stories he told of like back
Yeah.
in the day, leading up to Passion and Warfare, and he was like just trying to get the album out, and he played to a backing track for his song Tender Surrender, and it was crazy. Like it was just a backing track, and he played just himself, no band. And then as I was listening, other people I chatted with afterwards reported the same thing. It was just like this goosebumps, frozen in your seat feeling of watching him, and next
Yeah,
thing your
yeah,
eyes start welling up, and it's amazing the
exactly.
power music has.
And that's music,
Yeah,
and that's the gift of music.
yeah,
And I think it's getting better and better because I see the little kids and the YouTube and the TikTok generation growing so fast in their techniques and their
yeah,
emotion. That's awesome. And I think in about 10 or 15 years after that, so they already mastered at 20, and then they really going to invent themselves. So I'm curious what happens next.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah, that's astonishing, and more and more players discover the frequencies, and I hope more information will expose from that. It's the 432 frequency, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I was in a band years ago. We tuned to 432 and played gigs in 432.
yeah. So I'm curious if that's just the start of a new way to listen to music and the to connect the dots, emotion emotion to healing or to happiness or to
Mm.
they're mad or whatever. I think if we can learn more about frequencies, we will go to a next level and all will uh, uh, connect to that. But that's a little bit
Man,
philosophical.
I like this. We'll have to do another chat on plot. Yeah, I'm like
Yes.
I've done I have a certification in Reiki and
Okay.
I
Nice. Oh,
yeah, so like no nobody watching this video
cool.
has known that up to now, but it's like yeah, so like energies and things definitely. Like I think even if no matter how spiritual somebody calls themselves or identifies as or not, like you can't deny that music evokes emotions and there is an energy like the buzz of listening to a song or being at a gig or playing with others. It's a real thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the next level is in a good jam session, because that was the basis to go
Yeah.
back, is to create with the people who you love to hear. So
Mm.
it's a different kind of jam session. Euphoric feelings and emotion. Whoa, what the f just happens here?
Yeah.
And that's for me a real jam session. And um, uh, of course everything is a jam session, but that's my enjoyment. That's
Mm.
which I enjoy. And 10 years ago we had a little club. It's a nice story. A little
Mm.
club here in the center, and we had every Tuesday we had a jam session, and the competition was each formation wanted to do the most of euphoric, to create the most euphoric moments, to get the audience to dance or to go wild. That was the challenge.
Yeah.
So that's a different, total different approach.
And how did you go about that? How did you do it?
You try to rearrange, for example, the structure of the song. So maybe they started with a cover song or whatever, but they changed tonality. They got inversion. So one person just shouted new chords. If they thought, oh, this is nice, we can go to a climax. Oh, just go to the one, or just go whatever, modulate, and the whole band. Oh, okay, whoop, and then the ears of everyone were fine tuned, and then you can try to make a climax to tell a story with the
Yeah.
improvisation. That was the idea, and some took the lead, and then the bass player says, "Oh, this is nice. Let's go now, bam!" And the audience is honest, because if the audience dance, or they are really drunk, but
Yeah.
let's keep it on
Keep it natural.
yeah, let's keep it natural. But if they dance, they are honest, they feel a beat, they feel the emotion, they are happy, you get a party.
Nice.
Yes. Or with a ballad, you see really the eyes are focused on the stage. So that was the focus point to make the bubble on stage as euphoric as possible, and to make the bubble as big that the audience dragged into it.
Nice, man. God, jeez, you're at great things with the guitar over there. Seriously, like I haven't done half of those things. It's so cool to hear about them. Like that thing of improvisation and the jamming and everything.
It's I love it. It's just, it's my I love it.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Like anybody
Yeah.
watching this will see it. It's so good. And like so, concluding, I hopefully we'll get to talk again. I've really enjoyed chatting with you. And
Mutual, yes. Thank you for your time.
cheers. Oh man, same as like I think it's really important, like because the thing is, like, having chatted with other guitar teachers privately in Facebook groups and one to one, like the word solitary and things like that comes up, and it's very like you're teaching, you have your student base, maybe a few associates in the locality, and maybe some chatting with people online, but like for guitar students out there, and even for other teachers, just to hear more teachers discuss and talk and just to get ideas and share ideas, I think it's a great thing. So thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for taking the initiative, and I think those are the conversations that are really interesting and really fun to have, to expand your thinking for each other. It's a good
Man.
well done. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Oh no, well, thank you. And so, wrapping up, if you're to give one piece of advice out there to guitar players watching, whether they're beginners, advanced, or intermediate, or whatever, what would it be?
Play what you love.
Lord,
That's it.
cool, man. So like Joe Pest, simple as.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Nice.
Just enjoy the journey, and if you can do that, all is good, all is well.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. I'll so what I'll do is here, I'll stop the recording, and where can everybody find out more about you? I'll include links for anybody watching. The links will be below here where you can find out more about Demi and his teaching. But Demi, do you want to share?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a Dutch website, www.speelgitaar vandaag, but you can see the link when you need for the translation. I think I'm gonna do more English things, but it's Dutch. Always welcome to send a message or inbox or follow me, and I hope the students of you have some nice visions extra to help them on their journey.
Oh man, no doubt, no doubt. Thanks so much. Thank you, Demi.
You're welcome.